Sponsored by Jiffy Apps.
Good afternoon, Caroline, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So, what is the citizens media, and why is the citizens media special to the world?
The Citizens Media is a global investment cooperative. The idea behind which is to move finance to a place where people have equal opportunity to increase their own livelihoods. What makes it special? There are four key elements that it incorporates. One is communication. We need to be communicating on a global scale. That means that we have to start bridging understanding between cultures that are different from our own. And that enables us to realize or to tap into potential we'd otherwise not know about.
Okay.
So that's one piece, and this is enabled through a distributed platform that connects open source technology throughout the world, so we can get conversations going on multiple platforms, all threaded into the same place in a way that also means that people will be able to better utilize the tools that are available to us all. So communication is one piece.
Okay.
Another piece is mobile revenue tools. So only half the world's adults have a bank account, and you have merchant banking fees associated with banks as well. So
Right.
in order to facilitate commercial exchange for everybody throughout the world, we need to be able to facilitate exchange through a mobile banking system. So I can speak a little bit more to that later on,
Okay.
if you'd like to know more.
Yeah.
Another part is community. Now, this is really important because most money that is given to charities, if you like, goes to large-scale solutions. And these large-scale solutions more often than not, fail to address the people. And because they fail to address the people, they don't get a good understanding about the real needs out on the ground. So remember the fourth got communication, mobile exchange, community, and collaborative investments. So if we are able to collectively invest in solutions, we can start increasing long-term change. This is a cooperative investment initiative, which means that collectively we all invest into a common goal. But that common goal will be achieved by through people competing with ideas. So it brings competition and collaboration together. Because we're all unique for a reason. We all want to be able to tell people what we can, we all want something special to give to the world, and we all want that to be empowered, right?
Right.
But let's be open with these ideas and with sharing, and by this way what can we manifest? What can we make happen? What's possible? So yeah, that's pretty much what it is, and what makes it unique.
Wow, that's I love the idea. It's like everybody. You're right. Everybody is special, and everybody should be treated as special as an individual. So let's get into what inspired you to start this whole thing.
Well, when I sort of look back at my own experiences, and knowing how much I wanted to be understood, and I wanted to give to the world. And when I felt that people were perceiving that in the wrong way, I was sort of, why is this? Why does this happen? Why do people compete with each other? Why is it we want to get one above the other? Why can't we come together, and why do we feel threatened by another? And I started thinking about the economic system as we have it works in a way that means the more we have, the easier it is to get ahead.
Right.
So this is the belief system that society has been growing up on here. And I think this is a lot to go to. Why, when there's so many tools and out there and so many bright minds, we've got the power to change the world. So why is it that we've got, 2.7 billion on less than $2 a day? We've got 8 out of every 10 people living on less than $5,000 a year. The population around sort of 60 years ago was 2.7 billion, and this is the speed of transition that the world's under a lot of pressure at the moment. We're at a tipping point. So I sort of thought, okay, well, we got to this stage by having spoon-fed marketing and so on, and then we had the internet, Facebook, two-way communication helps to hold businesses more accountable. That's helping with the shift.
Yeah.
But what else is it? I mean, banks and the stock market, like I said, I mentioned before, is that they mean that the more you have, the more you're given, the easier it is to get ahead. And with this being so, it makes reducing the wealth gap impossible. So population is going to continue to grow because we're going to have a populace in the world that, isn't getting the education, isn't getting the ability to increase their own livelihoods. And it's when we start to increase our own livelihoods that we get drawn to creating into other things. And it's not just that we get access to education. So the birth rate starts to decrease. So we need to reduce the wealth gap. So what can we do? Well, there are lots of systems, like mobile banking being one that we've already spoken to. Alternative energy supplies. There are lots of things out there that if we can catalyze in some way to bring about a shift, going from the old ways of working to ways where the more we unite, the more we can collectively be, do, and create. What can we do? What can we create? So that's what the citizens media is meant to do. It's meant to be a catalyst to these change-making initiatives that, quite frankly, we need to get on the bandwagon of as soon as possible.
Okay. So, you've discussed a lot of different tools and everything. What is the plan, and how do we get those tools to work so that I would love to see a world where everybody has a slice of something.
Yeah, and if we can create something that is as authentic, as transparent, as for the people as can be,
right?
It will take off, and nothing will be able to beat it. It's the people who take part will become its ambassadors. And ultimately, the vision is that we'll be able to create a self-organizing system. So how do we do this? Well, okay. We invite people to become part of a co-op. They invest anything from as little as $10. You get given a certain amount of shares for this amount. You get one voting share, no matter how much you put in, and you get a share of the profits based on the amount of money that you put in. So most of the money that goes into the pot goes to community-based projects where we work with organizations who are already active out on the ground. Like, for example, in International Development Enterprises, a group that have helped 20 million out of poverty already. They've got groups all over the world. We work with these people. They're engaging the locals so they can help us. That's how we communicate with people out on the ground. We can get an understanding of the communication tools they need and how we can hook them up into this global network that I mentioned so that we can facilitate two-way communication. The other thing that we do is we invite people, we find out what their design needs are. Is it a farmer who needs an irrigation tool to help diversify the crops he can grow and get more sort of market crops that will deliver a greater return?
Right.
Lighting source or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
What do they actually need? And then if we put those design challenges out there and we invite entrepreneurs throughout the world to pitch proposals, saying it could be a pretty traditional investment proposal that says, hey, you give me this amount of money, here are the numbers, here's when the return that I'm going to give you, and so on. Or it could be more of an open sort of solution where you have a group of designers saying, hey, we'd like to take this on and we'll give you the whole product. If you fund our whole thing, we'll give you the whole thing. And then you can use the distributed network that you're creating here to help distribute what you've got. So anyway, the point is by getting people to pitch proposals, that's the competition, right?
Right.
And you get members of the co-op and an advisory group, experts, people who can help get the ball rolling with, who have a real understanding of the issues here that will affect the efficacy of the design solutions. Anyway, you get members of the co-op to ask questions and comment on the solutions being proposed. And the idea is that'll increase the awareness of what's out there and what the real issues are that people are facing.
Right.
That will do two things. It'll excite people to see what opportunity there is. I mean, bearing in mind that, something I should mention is that most of the world's economy today, as we know it, came about by designing for the wealthiest 10% of the world. Think about 2/3 of the world aren't online. So most people haven't been able to say, hey, here's what I need. So we've been serving the wealthy.
Right.
This means that there's this 90% marketplace still waiting for tools that can help them get ahead. And what's even more exciting is when you start designing tools that are for people who don't have much, they have to be radically affordable. To be radically affordable, they're probably going to have to employ local people on the ground, use local people to help distribute and so on, and use local resources too. What's the impact? More sustainable and so on, right?
Yeah.
So then the co-op they've made the questions, comments, and so on, and then they're asked to vote on which design solution you want the co-op to invest in. So they make their decision collectively, and then the money that comes out as a profit from the investment gets distributed to members of the co-op in direct reflection to the amount that they put in. So that's where most of the money goes to, communications and these design challenges. There is a portion that goes to contributors of content. As I said, not 2/3 of the world aren't actually online. There's mobile; it's increasing quickly here. But you've also got literacy skills and language barriers. So there are language translation tools out there, but they only go so far. We need to actually be able to give people a return for being a language translator, for helping to give a voice to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to connect. It's all about, again, that equal opportunity piece. And by giving locals out on the ground this ability to earn a return, they can then become investors. So think about the stock market right now. If you don't have, by the time you make anything, you want to invest, it costs you a lot more to invest, right?
Right.
So this means that everyone can ultimately participate. You imagine you've got a local journalist, they help a local farmer get online, they're selling grain and so on. They can then use the money they make as a journalist to go and purchase that grain from that farmer. That farmer gets some of this currency. And this return comes in a mobile currency that I mentioned when you asked me what was special about CM.
Okay.
It comes in a community currency called Comcoins or community coins. And then what we're doing is we'll be connecting with other currencies through a revenue exchange system for mobile revenue exchange. And we will enable you to exchange your Comcoins with other community-based currencies. Of which there are many throughout the world. Many are sitting on Bitcoin. There's a large marketplace through Bitcoin.
Right.
But that's not the only one out there.
It's just the best known.
It is, yeah. It's been an excellent. It's been a very good tool for sort of getting people to see that there's an alternative out there. Yeah.
Awesome. You've got quite a chunk of work cut out for you in this.
For us. It's a co-op. It's like,
it is. It's a co-op.
There isn't. We can't. None of us can solve all the problems in the world.
No, that's the whole
this.
point. Is like we have to in order for this to stay sustainable. pardon me stumbling over my words. We have to come together. Um, co- Competition, it's there's nothing wrong with competition, but but we can't. We have to start learning to collaborate with each other.
And we have to have that thirst to say, hey, I've got an idea. This is what I can do. How about we do this? How about we do that? And we can start exciting each other. And when we're not under pressure over, I've got to perform, or this person's competing with me, or when we're empowered by working collectively, then it takes away some of those big weights that we carry around, that stop us from being everything that we can be.
Right. You're a visionary. With lots of hope in your eyes.
We live in a beautiful world. I live in Whistler, BC. I live in the mountains, and there isn't a day that goes by where I just don't walk outside and I'm just in celebration.
Yeah.
Rain, snow, or sunshine. It's we live in a beautiful world with beautiful people, and I think that yes, we all want to be able to feed our families, which creates a large part of the problem when it comes to changing from the world that we're in at the moment, the systems that we're locked into, actually moving out of that and to helping to facilitate the change. We do need that, but at the same time, I think that we all want to help humanity as well. We all want to contribute to our communities and humanity as a whole. And I believe that once we start to see that actually, development and sustainability, development of ourselves or of our own skills and of our economies, and being sustainable can go hand in hand.
Right.
Well, it's about getting the ball rolling. It's a no-brainer.
So you're taking the opening pitch, is that it?
Anyone who takes part is taking an opening. What this turns into, as the world is, will become the sum of all who take part. We are responsible for the world that we create. This is an opportunity. It's an easy to engage opportunity for people, just initially, if they want to, just to stick their big toe in the water and check it out. But it's an opportunity to start to see if we can make a difference. And I believe that once it gets moving, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So how does a person invest?
You go to the website. Go to thecitizensmedia.com. And so citizens with an S on the end. And you will see, you can find out more information about what's going on. There's also access to a forum if you've got any questions that you would like to ask. I would love to hear from you. But in the top corner by the search bar, you'll see an invest button. Click invest. And just put in the amount that you want to invest. There's also a referral. We don't know when the return from investments will come in, right? It depends. It depends what solutions everyone comes up with,
Right.
So, yeah. But to help increase the returns that the micro investor, the crowd investor, if you like, will get, there's a referral system in there. So if you were to, get people to collectively contribute, to invest $1,000, you would get 5% of that. So $50, is that right? You
Something
would
like
get that in comp points, in this community-based currency. And you would be able to use those comp coins to purchase products and services that are sold within the Citizens Media. On that, or like I said, you'd be able to put them in the exchange. But so there's a referral system in there. We'll also be looking for philanthropic investors, people who can see the potential of this vision. So we'll be looking out for philanthropic investors who might be willing to put an amount of money into a community project, perhaps somebody they would support anyway, like IDE, we'll put our money to this project. So that goes specifically to Citizens Media and so on. Or it could be a philanthropic investor who says, we'll increase the returns of people who've collectively said, yep, I'll put in my, my 10, 20, 50 bucks, whatever it might be.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Give that website one more time.
Yeah, thank you. Where was I? It's thecitizensmedia.com or the-cm.com.
Please do invest, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you, Caroline.
Likewise. Thank you, Michael.
Okay.
Thank you.
So